Federal grand jury has indicted 3 women accused of following an ICE agent home and posting their address on social media. The Department of Justice says it's still looking for 37-year-old Cynthia Raygoza of Riverside, pictured here. According to the indictment, Raygoza, along with Ashley Brown of Colorado and Sandra Carmona Semaine of Panorama City, followed the agent from downtown Los Angeles to his personal residence last month, live streaming the entire thing. They're accused of publicly disclosing the address and telling viewers to come on down. They've each been charged with conspiracy and publicly disclosing the personal information of a federal agent. If convicted, the women could face a maximum of 5 years in federal prison for each count.
The Department of Homeland Security says Mexican drug cartels have put a bounty on ICE and Border Protection officers in Chicago. The department says the cartels are offering thousands of dollars for those who gather information on federal officials and their families, and even more money for kidnapping or assassinating high-ranking officials. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says she's stepping up security for federal agents.
The threat to ICE agents is real, but apparently the Democrats don't think that ICE and other law enforcement agencies should have the ability to protect their identities, themselves, and their families. And of course, the topic of the day is doxing and masking. And what we're going to see first is Stephen A. Smith being completely embarrassed by Tom Homan, and then we'll see something even more surprising over on CNN. But before we get these clips, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video so we can get through the algorithms. Here we go.
Identity. Law enforcement officials throughout this country don't get the license to do that. They have to walk up to you. They have to identify who they are. They have to make sure it's clear. An ICE agent getting to conceal their identity is not a privilege or a situation that other law enforcement officials have. Why should ICE agents have that?
Look, I don't particularly like the mask either, but name another law enforcement agency that's over 1,000% attacks on them. And name another law enforcement agency whose spouses and children have been doxed on social media and been attacked and bullied in churches and schools. These men and women put a gun on their hip and wear a Kevlar vest to go on the streets every day, look for the worst of worst, makes this country safer. Them wearing a mask, if that protects them and protects their families, then that has to be done. No one, you know, I remember the days some of these cities, if they weren't wearing a mask during COVID, you got reported to the police and got arrested for it. These men and women are trying to protect themselves and their families. And again, I don't like the mask. I wish there wasn't need for it. But there's not another law enforcement agency dealing with the attacks that ICE is dealing with right now. Look, immigration enforcement, I've been doing this since 1984. It's always been controversial. It's always been emotional. But people need to remember the men and women at ICE, they don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They have children too. And they take very, very emotional things home with them every day.
And that, of course, is an excellent point. You're talking about people. Now, yes, they're in law enforcement, but they're also husbands and wives and sons and daughters. And yes, they want to protect themselves and their families. And of course, we've seen doxing come along. And that, of course, is the reason why they're wearing masks in the first place. They used to not do this. But then, of course, you had the rabid leftists going out there saying, hey, let's go after these people. And of course, their families, their children. Let's make them uncomfortable and scared so they won't do their duty, so they won't enforce the federal laws that people voted for back in 2024. Okay, that is exactly what the rabid leftists want. However, Stephen A. Smith is over here saying, I don't think they should be wearing masks. All right, no other agency gets to wear masks. Yeah, they do. You ever heard of SWAT? You ever heard of gang units? They wear masks for the same reason, to protect their identities because they're dealing with the worst of the worst. And even Gavin Newsom in California, when he passed his stupid little executive order that said, hey, ICE can't wear masks in California, even though they totally can, guess who was exempted from that? Gang units, the SWAT units, all right? They were still allowed to retain their masks because even Gavin Newsom apparently wasn't dumb enough to take them away. However, since he's trying to stop Donald Trump from acting in California, he went ahead and passed that useless piece of paper anyway. But apparently the Democrats now think that doxing is fine, as we're going to see on this clip from CNN.
And you're acknowledging that they took the entire group down.
Yes, because the
So that
entire group
includes
was dangerous to the lives
hold
of
on.
ICE agents.
So because that includes people who were not doing what you described. Because I'm not disputing that maybe there were some people putting out the names of ICE
wasn't
agents, which,
maybe.
by the way,
It happened.
I am not sure is considered doxing, right? If you're a law
Hold on,
enforcement
hold on.
agent, your
Whoa, whoa,
name...
whoa.
It's personally
hold on,
identifiable information, so that's your address, your email address, or your phone.
The name of a law enforcement officer or agent is not...
Where
it's
does
not-
this guy
it's
live,
not
and who
private
is
doxed-
he?
of
Is
doxing
doxing
No, it's
101?
not. It's not from a legal perspective, and it's not from a
it's
content
not.
moderation perspective.
Let me,
But here's what-
wait.
here-
If there's a police officer or an ICE agent whose picture is put up in a group chat on Facebook that is about ICE, and it says, let's expose this person, somebody tell me who he is, where he lives.
Okay, I'm going to be real with you. That's
You
not doxing.
think that's not doxing?
It's definitionally
You don't think
not.
that that's putting their lives at risk?
No, doxing is when you actually paste somebody's personal identifiable information, PII, which is an email address,
Okay.
a phone number, or a physical address.
and you
I'm
can
not
have-
saying that what you're saying isn't bad.
I'm saying it's
just not-
dangerous.
I'm not saying it isn't, but it's not considered doxing when it comes to these policies.
Then you're going to have a
Let me
different
just
definition,
add- let me
because when
just
you're
add one more
advocating
thing.
for
Ben, there's an
exposing...
actual legal
Yeah, there's
definition of
actually a
doxing.
definition to
It's
this
not
thing.
up to you.
And not to mention...
You know, it's not a
But-
subjective definition.
and
Anna, if somebody
and
was doing
Ben,
that
hold on
to
one
you or anyone in your
second.
family,
Ben,
They do
I would
it to
defend
me.
it.
They
Right,
have
and
done
that's
it to
why I'm
me.
defending it.
Okay.
I'm
No,
saying this is wrong,
Ben,
and you
just
can't
give me
put
just give me
your-
1 second.
So in this segment, we're looking at Facebook, or rather Meta, right? They're taking down groups that were actually going out there and trying to dox ICE agents, okay? But of course, the Democrats on the panel are very upset. I can't believe Facebook would actually do that. Why would they take down these groups that are actually inciting illegal activity? Now, at this point, I do have to mention that, yes, unfortunately, the leftists on this panel do have a point. Legally, doxing is only the publishing of information without someone else's consent with the intent to do harm, okay? But Ben Ferguson actually gets them to admit something. They don't particularly care about what's happening, right? They don't care about the doxing itself. And even though doxing is defined as the search for and publishing of information, legally, it just simply isn't. But once again, these folks are admitting that they don't really care, right? They're upset that Facebook took down the page. They're upset that Facebook was trying to actually protect ICE agents. They're upset, apparently, that these crazy, rabid leftists were not given the opportunity to go ahead and finish the doxing process, okay? And that, of course, is what we're facing. All these Democrats, all these panelists on CNN, they don't want ICE to be able to go out there and enforce the rule of law. They want to stop all deportations of illegal immigrants, whether they're violent or not, all right? That is the end game. And unfortunately, no amount of common sense is going to change their minds. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.